My name's Ralph Peake. I'm chair of the Chamber of Commerce Business Sustainability Group. And we've been working on, or rather Simon Sheath here and Emma Sale have been working on a carbon calculator. And it's a tool that we want to offer our members and then ultimately offer small businesses on the island. So Simon has joined me today. Simon, I know you've been working on this for a number of weeks and months,
Yes.
and I know you've enjoyed it as well. But just give us some idea of where it's come from, the idea, and how you've actually made it easy for people to use.
Yes, so the carbon calculator tool that me and Emma have been developing, the whole idea is that it just makes calculating your carbon emissions so much easier, and we've tried to make it even simpler for you to do by, for example, on our business travel side of things. Like if you're a local business on the island, you're only going to be going so many places, and there's a very easy way to do that. So we've got just a count of flights from Isle of Man to Liverpool. Now we've got standard flights that we've got, and it just means that you can just whack it in, and it's supposed to be easy and simple. And then with all the other parts, like the whole tool is split into three what's called scopes, and scope 1 is your electricity emissions, so making sure that, scope 2 is your electricity emissions, scope 1 is things like heating, so if you have like gas boilers in your office, like that's where those that data will go, and it just builds up your carbon emissions, and we've tried to make it as simple as possible. There's descriptions on there what they are.
Yeah. Just on that scope 1, 2 and 3, that's probably worthwhile just touching on that to give people an understanding. It's really about the different scopes of the different areas where the carbon is created, isn't it? And whether it's yourself created on site or your customers or supply chains, isn't it?
Yes.
Just perhaps explain the differences.
Yeah, so scope 1 being the fuel burnt is the proper term. So that can be anything from you buying a petrol can and putting it in your car, to the oil that goes into your your oil boilers for your heating.
Yeah.
So that's all bought in. Then electricity emissions is the electricity you use, and the factor that goes into that is how it's produced. So the Isle of Man, we've got gas turbines which produce a lot of our electricity. We've got very limited renewables, and that's about it. Whereas in the UK, there's a lot more broad range of what you can buy. But so we actually use local conversion factors so that the calculator's as accurate as possible.
Yeah, so the scope 2 is you're using that energy, but it's being burnt off-site.
Yes.
And so that's scope 2. And then scope 3, that's further down the line.
Yes, scope 3 looks, if you're in your supply chain and you're selling to someone else, scope 3 looks above the supply chain, below the supply chain, and at you. So if you commute to work, it looks at that. It looks at your business travel if you have to go off island. Scope 3 goes into an enormous amount of detail, much more than this calculator can actually calculate, because there's just so much. So we've limited it to commuting and business travel.
That's great. So you've kept it simple, really, haven't you?
Yes.
That's the great thing about it. And the other thing I think we want to reassure businesses is that you don't have to do everything, do you? You've designed it so you can just focus on one thing, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. Big. As I was saying, scope 3 is so enormous. It's quite snow-blinding, really. But like you can look at it for hours and be like, I still don't understand it. Like we've had training on it to try and understand it, and it's still mind-bogglingly complex. So to get away from that, focusing on just one or two things in scope 3 makes it so much easier.
Yes, yeah, I think that's further down the line, isn't it, in a number of years' time.
Yeah.
But the great thing is we can start now, just choose one or two subjects, the businesses can then calculate themselves what carbon they're using now, and then measure it again in the future and see what the difference is.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the idea, so that you can then see, what the things we did this year to, like maybe turning off the lights more often, like, oh, that actually had an impact, and I can see what that's done. Or, hey, I stopped driving to work, I now cycle to work. Wow, that's quite a big impact in my emissions.
Yeah, big impact in your life as well, isn't it? But it just shows you get out of different habits. So it's not about saving the world now with just one thing from a business. It's about just getting into a new habit, isn't it? And it's a great way of measuring that. So I'm congratulations on doing that. And another thing we're actually going to offer is some business, if they'd like to contact the Chamber, myself or Simon, and we can maybe come to your business and actually go through step by step. That's something we're going to offer, isn't it? Because we do realise that if you don't understand the subject, sometimes you don't want to actually get involved in it. But we really do encourage businesses to contact us, and we'll see who we can actually go out and visit and step by step through.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Simon, for coming today. That's brilliant. Cheers.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.